All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. A lot of stuff to talk about this morning. Finally, it looks like the slow week is over. We got oil stocks, ExxonMobil, Chevron, and more gapping up today on optimism after Venezuela. We have oil is actually slightly green today. It closed at 57.33 a barrel for oil futures. It's now at 57.65. We have Microchip and AI stocks pumping up this morning. Nvidia at 191.70s, Oracle at 191. So you can see like Palantir is also up to 174s. The NASDAQ is currently sitting at 25,569. Ghost week is finally over. It's been a slow couple weeks from the holidays, but now we're back in the swing of things for 2026. Markets are up a little bit this morning, at least. If you look at the SPY and Q, SPY sitting at 685, 683 roughly closed. The NASDAQ is sitting at 617s, 613 close. Again, Oracle looks like it wants to break over $200, and I'm in Oracle right now. My average price in Oracle is about 182 something. It's just under 183s really, so we're almost to 200. Pretty good percentage gains on that one. I think Meta is actually down a little bit on some news. Yeah, Meta's at 649.60s. So Meta's down. Bitcoin, on the other hand, has been rebounding nicely here at 93,000 or so, up nicely on the day, up to 93K. You can kind of see the daily moves here. Here is when the day started. Today is the 5th. Yeah, let me get my drawer, my pen out. But yeah, look, so you can see Bitcoin. Again, I'll put this chart up a little bit larger so we can really take a look at Bitcoin. But you can kind of see Bitcoin here on the day. There it is. Here's when the 5th started right here. Bitcoin, just when the day opened, had a nice run. It's pulled back a little bit, so it is a little red, over the last couple hours from its highs. But yeah, it reached over 93s earlier this morning, but it has bounced back. It's starting to kind of retest those levels now, but if we can get over 94s today, I'd love to see Bitcoin break over 100,000. I think 100,000. 90,000, 100,000. I think those are just really big psychological levels to pay attention for. And yeah, we'll see when we hit them or not. We're going to get the poll going live and everything else here. But yeah, I want to see if Bitcoin breaks that 100,000 sometime next few months. I think that's the first step. And see if it happens. Yeah, silver also up a lot today. If we take a look at silver futures here. Yeah, let me pull this up. If we take a look at silver futures, silver's down a little bit actually on the day, but it's back up to around $75. So it's moved up a lot yesterday. Like silver futures moved up Saturday, and so we're still net green. Silver futures have dropped a little bit after the stuff going on overseas. Basically oil stocks are up because like if you look at Exxon and Chevron, they're up because they see what happened over the weekend in Venezuela as opening the door for the U.S. major companies in oil to expand into those areas, while a risk premium keeps energy equities bid. Venezuela has the world's largest proven oil reserves, and Chevron is the only big U.S. major that's already on the ground there. So Chevron, if you look at it, is gapping up this morning. Look at a 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart. You see Chevron at 166, closed at about 155, reached 187s, early yesterday when the news dropped, or when it first got a chance to react to the news. But yeah, markets are wild today. Yeah, look, we have Microchips pumping up as well. Like Microchip stocks, Nvidia at 191s. If you look at Nvidia here, Nvidia's at 191s. 191.70. So Nvidia is making moves. Again, silver's had a good reaction over the weekend. If we take a look at yields this morning, like bond yields, they're at 4.171% right now. So yields really, if we look at them, they're up a little bit from Friday. And again, I don't think we're necessarily going to cut rates this month in January. I just don't think we are. I was looking at like Polymarket to see how much I would make if I bet on the no rate cut option, a pause option on Polymarket. I only make like 10% returns though, so if I bet 5K, I make $500 basically. So it's not, it's a little slim, but I still think it's pretty freaking likely we're not going to cut rates this month. I think especially with how the FOMC summarized things in the FOMC minutes report that we got last time, I think it's very unlikely we cut rates, just based off of everybody widely agreeing that we could cut rates in December and then essentially slow down for at least, you know, a few months moving forward. Now, this is all barring we don't get like a really bad labor report Friday this week. So Friday this week, we do have a labor report. If we take a look at the Fed Watch Tool, I think the Fed Watch Tool odds are a little bit less slim here. Yeah, they're like 18 to 82% for a pause. So 82% likely for a pause. But yeah, we'll see what happens on the labor report on Friday. We do have a labor report Friday. We do have a bunch of other stuff going on this week, to be honest. So we got ISM manufacturing data today, services PMI tomorrow. We have the ADP monthly report on Wednesday, ISM services on Wednesday, the JOLTS job report on Wednesday. Thursday we have jobless claims, and then Friday we have the labor report. We get unemployment, non-farm payrolls, housing starts, University of Michigan stuff as well. So this week is really busy with most of the main event for this week centered on Friday, specifically Friday. A lot of stuff going on, but every day outside of today and tomorrow we got a lot going on as well. And even today we have manufacturing PMI as well. But yeah, Chevron stock is up 8%. Chevron, ConocoPhillips. So investors are kind of looking to see what they can invest in to benefit from the Venezuela news. Crude, not as up as much. Crude is kind of flat, but the energy sector itself is trying to figure out what to buy. And a lot of them are buying Chevron since it's already on the ground in Venezuela. Chevron is up. Exxon is up as well. So yeah, I think Palantir is up today as well. Palantir is like a defense stock, right? So even though it dipped a little bit on Friday, Palantir actually made some big moves back up this morning, kind of filled some of that gap. You know, Palantir's an AI stock, don't get me wrong, but they work for like defense company. It's kind of a defense stock as well. It's definitely correlated to defense. It gets government contracts in that regard. And so Palantir is up to 174s this morning. The S&P 500, if we take a look at it, sitting at just under 7,000. I think one of the big things that we can look at recently is the S&P 500 breaking 7,000. I think it's just a big psychological level. A lot of people are paying attention to it. Yeah, I think a lot of people are talking about oil for sure right now. Oil is probably the big story of the day. Oil, maybe silver, energy stocks, but the microchips are up as well today. But yeah, the S&P 500, I think it wants to break 7,000. 7,000 is right here. It's very, very close to it. The SPY obviously is green on the day, and I think, you know, a lot of people are just waiting to see when the S&P breaks 7,000. I think that's going to be big news. I mean, we might have a couple days. I don't necessarily think it's going to happen today, but I think if we get a good labor report this week, it could happen. And again, Bitcoin again at 93,000 here, chat. So Taiwan semiconductors will sink at earnings. Ride high maybe 290-300 after earnings. Yeah, I mean, it's up a lot today as well. If you look at TSM here. And again, I'll put this up larger, but if you look at this, if you look at TSM, TSM's right here. So a lot of microchip stocks are up this morning. Yeah, Happy New Year's, guys. Happy New Year's. Chevron has a high PE ratio, but this is their first shot. They really had a long time drastically growing their reach and production. Crypto is doing their typical dip to start the week. I don't know. Bitcoin's up today. Yeah, Bitcoin opened the day at like 91, so it's at 93,000 roughly right now, just under 93K, but it's still up on the day for sure. Maybe it's dipping a little bit more, but yeah, we're seeing rises in crypto, microchips, oil companies, based off of the news we got over the weekend. Oil per barrel currently is at around 57, so it's actually slightly green on the day. Slightly green. Previous closing price on oil is about 57.33. We're at 57.62 a barrel, so we're slightly green in oil actually. What's up, Sam, Stifler, Pew, David, Sean, World Speech, Jason, Farmer, the Fox, R, Nick, Ray, Todd, Sergio, Faded, D-Man, Pawn, Steve, Mamba, Harry, BA, Y, Chef, Arlen, Alan, Joan, Womble, Alyssa, everybody else basically. What's up, chat? Of John London, is this just hype? I don't know if it's hype. It's just reactions, you know. Again, with Venezuela, there's a lot of oil deposits there. There's a lot of oil there. I'm not gonna go into whether I think it was a good or bad move or anything like that. It's just too political for me. But I do know that, you know, oil is gonna most likely be a little bit more free flowing out of there now. That's one of the reasons these oil companies are positively reacting to this. You know, if you look at Exxon, probably the biggest reaction, gapped up, but it's kind of coming down a little bit, honestly. Chevron up as well, but again, they're starting to come down. Oil, a lot of people thought oil would be really low today, and it might be. It might react like that later on, just because generally the more free flowing oil is, the less expensive it is, so the price per barrel might decrease. Is why you might see like that kind of dynamic here. Yeah, if we look at the VIX is probably going to be down on the day just because of, you know, the VIX is going to go up when volatility is up, like when we get a downward pressure on stocks. So with upward pressure on stocks, VIX is going to be down generally, but it's actually up a little bit. We're at 15, 18, so small gap up. More volatility than normal, I guess. Yeah, where will oil in 2026? Let me do a poll here. That's a good question. Where will the price of oil per barrel end in 2026? All right, so let's say under 50 is one option. Under 50, we can do $50 to 65. We can do 65 to 80. We'll just leave it at those three. All right, vote on the poll. Yeah, this is why one of the reasons they take oil out of, you know, that's one of the reasons you get core inflation. They remove oil prices because oil prices are volatile and can move for a lot of different reasons, right? So when we look at CPI inflation, a lot of people are going to look at core CPI because that excludes food and energy prices. It removes the volatility of oil, which we get a lot. Yeah, that's what I mean, Brent crude. Damn. Yeah, maybe Jason. Maybe that's something that we'll see. Again, I think it could be. Yeah, we're gonna try to trade this. Again, here's the S&P 500. Here's the VIX. VIX is at 15. It is up a little bit today. I mean, relative to where it was Friday is probably what that is, but again, there's the VIX. Again, you can look at oil here. Oil's actually a little green. Exxon's green. Chevron is green at 165s. Yeah, silver is a little bit red on the day, I think. But they're at the mid 70s. They rebounded big after last week's shakeout. You know, again, silver went up to 83 last week. Silver is now back. If we take a look at it, back down to 74, 75s. But again, if you look at like a 5-minute chart on silver, you can see it made this huge run at the end of the year last year. Got all the way up to 82s, almost 83s. And it's kind of been dipping down. We had a big 8 or 9% shakeout in silver. You can see silver came all the way back down. It's now at about $75 an ounce for silver. So silver is all the way back down to $75 an ounce. But it has rebounded a little bit so far. You can see the year started about right here. Silver is back up here. So silver has gone back up. Gold prices specifically here. If we take a look at gold, gold's up. Gold is up. The gold's been moving up since Sunday. Yeah, so gold since Sunday has been moving higher here. Where do you think gold will end the year? Let me look at the poll. So we did the poll. Where will the price per barrel of oil end in 2026? 43% think $50 to $65 a barrel. We're talking about Brent crude, is what we're talking about. 40% think it's going to be under $50 a barrel to end this year, which basically means they think oil is going to be more free flowing this year, is what they mean. Again, we can also see TSM start to come down here. So here's Taiwan Semiconductors. Taiwan Semiconductors at 327s right now, 327s. We'll see if that number holds. Silver's up 3%. It depends on where you look at it, to be honest. Like when I look at silver, I guess you're right. Silver is up. You must be missing some data here. All right. I don't know. If we look at actual Monday, so like, look here, the day, Monday starts right here. Here's the 5th, starts right here. Silver is right here. Now the previous closing price is a different level. That's at 72.30. So if we're talking about since Saturday, or since, yeah, if we're talking about since yesterday, I mean since Sunday, when the market opened, silver ran big. But if we're talking about actually on the day today, it's a little red, I traded the Sunday open last night, midnight to 4 a.m. I'm actually up 866 on the day. Hey, good job, Sam. Yeah, I know. The market opens up at 6 o'clock yesterday evening. I was expecting things to be a little different, but man, we got volatility. Start taking profits on gold and silver. Money will go to other interests here. Yeah, there's some interesting poly market Alshi bets here if we look at this. There's some interesting ones. One of them is like I go to finance or economics, kind of like, again, at this point there's a 91% likelihood of a Fed pause in January, a 91% likelihood. Like I almost want to bet, but the odds have gotten a little bit worse since I looked at it yesterday. There's also like an option. Will Powell be out as chair before May? I think that's a very low chance. Very low chance. 4 months away, dude. I don't think he's going to remove enough chair. Although I would say this is a little bit more unpredictable. I think we're probably going to pause rates this month in terms of Fed decisions, but I think betting on, you don't know what's going to happen there. But I do think there's a very low chance that he's outed before May. I don't want to say we might have spoke Saturday into existence by this time by Friday. No, 100%. Maybe this is all just a simulation, or maybe y'all are just in my simulation. You know? Maybe that's what it is. But no, I think, yeah, I think we're going to pause rates in January. The only way we wouldn't pause rates is if we have like a really bad labor report this Friday. It would, I think even if we do, it's still less likely that we're going to pause. I think it'd have to be really bad. And I think we also might need to see like a weak ADP report on Wednesday. Small chance that we cut, or small chance that we, you're talking about Powell probably getting booted out before his May step down. Yeah, I think there's a very low chance of that, obviously, you know, but I don't think it's zero. I think, look, I'm not criticizing the president. I'm very neutral on all this stuff. I don't really get into that, but I think considering everything, while I still think there's a small chance, it's not zero. I think he could, you know, that could randomly happen. Again, I agree. The odds of that are very low in terms of Powell getting booted out before May. There's also the odds of a Fed rate hike before next year, 2027. Currently, it's at 13%. 13%. Yeah, I think we need to see a weak ADP labor report on Wednesday. We need to see a weak payroll report on Friday. And then we'd also probably need to see potentially like higher inflation next week. So next week we get the CPI report. So next Tuesday we get CPI inflation data. So I think if we're gonna cut rates, we need low inflation. And so we need weak labor and low inflation. I'm sorry, I had it backwards. And all of this stuff is happening. You know, the Fed decision is going to be what, on the 29th, if I remember correctly. So it's going to be the week after next for the Fed decision. Again, looking at our poll, 45% of people think the price per barrel of oil. We're talking crude futures. Or we're talking crude. A majority of people in the poll, out of over 100 votes, think it's going to be under $50 by the end of this year, price per oil. Only way he doesn't see out his term is if he gets fed up and quits. Yeah, most likely. They smack down tariffs and market, you might fire him in the aftermath. Yeah, that's true, David. That's possible too. When is the tariff decision? Yeah, so the Supreme Court is expected to issue its decision on the tariffs early this year. They don't guarantee the timing, though, so who knows when we're going to see that data or see that update. But it's supposed to be early this year, early 2026, regarding the tariffs. What do you think will happen with possible tariff reversal? I don't know. I think markets could honestly react either way. I think if we get rid of the tariffs, then markets might celebrate initially just because it means less inflation, potentially. But the market might also not like it. And I think even if they cancel these tariffs out, they're going to come back with the other ones, and it might cause a more volatile cycle forward. So I don't know. Time to buy VIX calls? Maybe. Buying VIX calls means that you think we're going to get pullbacks from where we are now. Or VIX calls, I mean, you think VIX is going to go up, so you think we're going to get pullbacks in markets, is what I mean. Yeah, look at Oracle, too. Again, I'm in Oracle. I'm in Oracle at 182. Almost to $200 a share. Portfolio is looking pretty good this morning. I'm in that silver. I'm in silver as well, so I like to see silver back up. Yeah, I gotta drink my coffee now. I'm just glad we finally get some volatility, man. It's been kind of boring in markets. You guys don't even understand. It's been boring. So Alphabet Inc. Argus Research raises price target to 365 from 330 on Alphabet. If you look at Google here, Google at 316 right now, but it's been making moves. In AMD, Nvidia, TSM, all up this morning. Microchips are pumping this morning, guys. So microchips are up big. Look at oil. Oil's still moving up a little bit here. Can we take a look at silver? Silver since yesterday. Silver, again, $75 a barrel. Gold falling down a little bit this morning. Look at gold dip. So gold is down to 44.20s. Over the last few hours, it's had some much larger pullbacks here. Apparently, Maduro arrived at New York federal courthouse for arraignment. See how that turns out today. I think that might influence markets as well. In a November poll, they thought oil would be at $59 a barrel. U.S. crude oil is now expected to average $58.15 per barrel this year versus $59 forecast in November, according to a poll. Again, people think we're going to get cheaper oil now based off of everything going on. Finally back in pre-market here. Coinbase was upgraded at Goldman Sachs. Adobe was downgraded at Jefferies as well. Probably some of the biggest upgrades and downgrades this morning. Look at gold, guys. Gold is now falling down. Here's the NASDAQ here. NASDAQ's dipping down a little bit. Oh, is it time to buy this dip? I don't know. Palantir's up a lot this morning just based off of the stuff going on overseas. Or not even overseas. I mean, I guess they're based off of geopolitical stuff. Palantir's up. It's a defense stock, and so when the U.S. makes defense moves, you know, especially there's talks about them using Palantir for this stuff. Palantir's up to 174s. If you look at it, here's PLTR. You know, so Palantir's been moving. It's right around 174s right now, but it is gapping up. It was at 167s on the last close. It's now at 170s for Palantir. Yeah, a lot of people speculating that tax loss harvesting is done. Yep. Here's the NASDAQ. It is falling down a little bit here. 547s. But still very green. You explain how Palantir helped? No, I mean, I'm not going to be able to do that, obviously. It's a defense stock. These are rumors circulating around. Markets are buy the rumor, sell the news. And so these are what the rumors are right now. Markets just react. You know. I don't know if that's a reasonable question. I just assume. Again, Bitcoin almost at 93,000. It's under 93s now. Hey, Happy New Year, Jay. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Happy New Year, man. At the very least, we got some stuff going on today, which is good. We have ISM Manufacturing PMI at 10 o'clock. The Institute of Supply Management. The ISM data is usually a little bit more influential. It's expected at 48.3 this morning, 48.3. Services PMI tomorrow. But again, starting on Wednesday, we got a string of economic data. We have the ADP non-farm employment change data. Last time the ADP data showed up at negative 32,000, negative 32K. This time they're expecting a gain of 47,000 jobs in the month of, when is this? December. So last month they're expecting a gain of 47,000 jobs. Again, I don't... We also have Jolt on Wednesday as well. Jolt is expected at 7.65 million for November, a little bit lower than the previous for 7.67 million, but not deep enough to really cause some worry unless we come way under that. And again, Thursday we got jobless claims and non-farm productivity and more. And then Friday we got the labor report coming out. The labor report, non-farm payrolls on December is expected to show 57,000. Unemployment rate's expected at 4.5%. And so seeing a little bit better jobs numbers here. And again, this is why I do not think we're going to be cutting rates this month unless we come in way under expected here for both ADP and unemployment, or over for unemployment. For both ADP and non-farm payrolls, I think we're going to be pausing rates this month. I wonder where Nike's is. Remember, I bought Nike last week. Again, here's the NASDAQ. Remember, I bought Nike, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but honestly, my Nike trade's gone really, really well. We bought Nike in the 50s at like 57 is where we bought Nike. Yeah, our average price is 57.65 at Nike. It's now at 63s. We basically bought Nike down here. If you look at this, we bought Nike here. And yeah, Nike has done incredibly well since we bought it. It just seemed pretty cheap down there. You'd love to see Nike up like this. I bought Nike as well. Hey, good job, Ricky. Don't copy me. I'm not an investment professional, guys. I'm not liable if you lose money. Understand all this stuff on screen. I can't guarantee anything. Do not copy me. But Nike trade's doing good. Nike trade's doing good. Applied Digital is up 35%. Yeah, Applied Digital is big. I think I heard you mention that one. I heard somebody mention it. I didn't buy it. It's a little... Cheaper stocks can sometimes make bigger moves. And if you look at the range of this thing, basically down from 20 to 30. That's a very large percentage range. But big risk, big reward. If you made money on it, good job. Not mad at you for it. But yeah, big percentage. I kind of want to buy the NASDAQ right here. Let me see. Would it be crazy to buy the NASDAQ right here? What do you guys think? Should I buy the NASDAQ right here? I'm going to buy it. I'd like to buy it like right here. Maybe see if we get a $50 bounce. I'd like to add a little bit more here. Netflix is getting cheaper and cheaper. Yeah, Netflix did really well with the Jake Paul fight too. You know, Netflix though, Stranger Things is over, and so this is probably just a hangover from Stranger Things. It's over now. That was their biggest show. I still think Netflix is going to be fine, but they are down a little bit today. Yeah, I'm not an investment professional. What's up, Chef? I already did. Hey, good luck, dude. Yeah, I just like, the reason I like buying here, and again, I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose money. Make your own assessment, figure it out. I have no idea what I'm talking about half the time, so do not copy me. But we obviously have a long-term trend. The upside, we dipped down to the 200 exponential. We went below it, and then we rebounded back up, and now we're kind of retesting it. So that is why I don't hate it. Again, I have no idea what this is going to do, and we're down already. So if this breaks down too much, I'm just going to cut it. But I just want to see a trend continuation here. Trend continue. If we get it. But if we start to break, especially if we break under like 40 right here, I think it's time to just let it go. Yeah, like this is a combine count that we're already up over 1,000, and so we've got the cushion to do it on this one. If markets start to break down, they break down. All good. We'll give it a chance, though. I need to see it back over the 200 exponential. Will the data in 2 hours affect markets? Which data are you talking about? You talking about manufacturing PMI data? ISM data? Maybe. Yeah, I saw that, Doc. People are all suspect with it. I'm not necessarily like... Yeah, I'm not really. They will have much more content in the future for Stranger Things. Did you guys like the ending? I didn't hate the last one. I didn't really like the I didn't like season 5, the second half of season 5. I liked the very last episode, but the ones before that, I didn't really like them that much. I thought they were kind of... It's not even the whole thing with Will. Like, I don't care about that. That's fine. It's more so just... Some of it's just bad writing. And they lied to us. Like, I'm coming from Game of Thrones. You know? Like, where's the blood? Where's all the drama? And we don't really get that. You know? I get it. It's not Game of Thrones. But, alright, so we're nicely green here. I'm going to take half of this off. Oh my gosh, I just sold all of it. I gotta jump back in here. I mean, on the plus side, we got a cushion on the day. Hey, what's up, Ahad? Hey, thank you, man. Milked it too much, maybe. You consider grab a penny stock? It depends on the float size, to be honest. It really depends on the float. This doesn't look like a tiny float stock, but it could be. Alright, so now we're back up again in this trade. Again, we held at the moving average again here. Yeah, no, I know. I understand Game of Thrones is just different. I get it. But I think they also, like, put out some stuff in the show where they were like, hey, you know, all this bad stuff's gonna happen. You gotta watch. And then none of it did. You know? You take a shower and get ready. I don't, sometimes I'll shower, sometimes I don't. It depends on what time I get up. Sometimes I'll get up at like 5 a.m. And if I get up an hour before the stream starts, then I usually do. But, alright guys, so we are pushing up a little bit here on this trade. Again, we did hold at that 200 exponential, like I talked about. We already took profit, and we have a more profit here that I could probably be a little bit more stubborn with and let it roll back at least to the previous closing price is what I'm looking at. I'll try to hold this a little bit longer to see what happens. But again, the news in Venezuela, pumping oil stocks this morning, Exxon, Chevron, both gapping up. Silver is up on the day. Silver's up. Gold has been retracing a little bit this morning, but it's still up pretty big. And again, the S&P 500 getting pretty close to that 7,000 price level here. Here's the SPY. SPY at 685s. The markets are mostly green on the day. Microchips especially are green. You look at Oracle, you look at Nvidia, you look at AMD. If you look at TSM, you look at Applied Digital, you look at Palantir, AI, microchip stocks are up this morning. Tech is up, really. Do we hold here, guys? Do you guys think we turn or we continue? We did this poll. We asked people, where will the price of oil per barrel end in 2026? 49%, half of the votes already on the poll think it's going to end under $50 price per barrel this year. They had a script that would be a Disney Channel classic. Yeah, I mean, look, the biggest criticism I heard is that, like, you're at a sci-fi show. Like, everybody can't live happily ever after, okay? But that's what they did, and it's just kind of like, all right, you know? Like, I gotta go watch Terminator or something like that to, like, compensate for it, because $40 price per barrel, maybe. Bull trap. dip at the open for sure, but I think we'll be very green on the day. Only red chance would be if we have a lot of sellers who still want to unload their profits this year on stocks they don't want. All right, guys, Nvidia still moving up. Look at Nvidia here. Nvidia up to almost 192s. I'm curious to see when Nvidia gets back over $200 a share. And another question is, do you guys think Michael Burry's unhappy with some of this latest movement here? Again, we said we talked about this earlier, but according to a U.S. crude oil, a poll is expected to average crude oil is expected to average $58.15 per barrel in 2026 versus $59 a barrel in November poll. So the price has gone down. They basically think oil is going to be a little bit more free flowing here. So again, I'm green on this trade, but I'm also going to hold it break even. So we've already taken profit on it once. If we dip below my entry here, I'll probably cut it. Although I would love to see it hold support here at my entry price. Again, I kind of bought the 200 exponential right here at 550 or so. Whole dollar number, 200 exponential. We'll see if that level holds. But I will cut it if we break underneath it, and we'll end green on the trade no matter what. Getting kind of close to this now. Now we're flat. If we bounce right at my entry. A little bit of Christmas music. Is it too late for that, guys? Should I change it? Let me know. Let me know in chat. Should I change the song? If we bounce at my entry. Burry crawled 37 of the last two bear markets. I know, pew pew. Like, bro. She had this big saving scene where she saved everybody, but she, you know, and then they just brought her back anyway. It's like, all right. All right, we're at my entry here. I'm trying to give it a chance to bounce. We're up about 6 ticks here, though. Tesla will make robots. Let it sounds good and it's chill. Okay. Yeah, Burry got it right really good once, and now people act like... Yeah, I mean, look. Burry overpredicts crashes. This is something that, if you've been paying attention to markets outside of the last 6 months... Burry overpredicts crashes. He does. Now, I'm not saying he's wrong about this one. He might be right about it, but he might be early. Even when Burry's right about crashes, one of his problems is that he's a little bit early generally. And sometimes that's the same thing as being wrong. And so let me know in the chat right now what you guys think. Do you guys think Burry is early? Or what? So, you think he's right, wrong, early? Let me know. Alright, so we got a little bounce back here. I want to let this run a little bit, though. We have ISM manufacturing PMI data at 10 a.m. Yes, we do. We do have ISM data at 10. All this attention on him. I think he's making money with subscriptions, if I remember correctly. He has his subscription. Any stocks that look cheap to buy, guys? We bought Nike last week. That, like, maybe it was the week before. Turned out really well. We bought Oracle as well. Any cheap stocks that look interesting? Look at this pop here. Oh no. The 8 a.m. volatility might turn the trade. We were looking really solid here. Trying to hold. Yeah, you're right. If you're early enough, it's wrong. Like in 2005. Yeah, even on the 2007, 2008, he got in a little bit early and he had to eat premiums for a few years and lose a bunch of money. It got to the point where in Burry, he's so biased, I think, and one of the reasons he's biased is because back in 2007, as he was having to eat those premiums with Scion, his friends sued him. His friends that he was managing their money for literally sued him. And it turns out that Burry was right the whole time and made his friend hundreds of millions of dollars, which is kind of the biggest, like, shut up, moment that Burry's probably ever seen. Like, hey, back off now. I've made you hundreds of millions of dollars. Be quiet. But the reason his friend sued him is because he was so early that he was eating premiums. Apple plans to launch no iPhones this year. Everybody knows there'll be another bear market. Why listen to someone who wrongly predicted one so many times now? Yeah, I mean, obviously there's eventually going to be another bear market. Yeah, we got some big IPOs this year too. We have we have OpenAI IPOing this year. We have Starlink IPOing this year. Yeah, I'm trying to let this work here, but I think we need microchips to help prop these up. If you look at NVIDIA, you look at AMD, they're reacting well, and NVIDIA's starting to bounce here. It's taking a little bit too long for my taste. Yeah, we're in the NASDAQ here. We already took some profit on it once. It's just struggling to get up there. I would set a physical stop, but I'm too worried it's going to pop down there for a second and then uptick and stop me out and then go right back up. Yeah, I mean, bear market doesn't necessarily have to happen this year. Anything could happen. Not like nothing like that is guaranteed. So Kashkari speaking right now, he said that the unemployment rate is pretty clean at 4.6%. He said the job market is clearly cooling on CNBC. Again, it said unemployment rate's pretty clean at 4.6%. My guess is we're close to neutral now. Inflation is still too high, and there's a risk that the unemployment rate can pop from here. So again, Kashkari speaking right now. He's worried about inflation. He thinks we're close to the neutral rate now, and he thinks the unemployment rate at 4.6% is quote, pretty clean, end quote. Gosh, bro. Where's my music? We'll listen to this song with the... Yeah, 4.6%. I don't know if I'd call it clean. Do I think it's good? Not necessarily. Is it close to average? Kind of. Again, I don't know if I'd use the word clean to describe it. I think there's risks at 4.6%. But, he's also stressing those risks. He says inflation's too high. Labor market's cooling. So, if he keeps talking here, but he basically said there's a risk that the unemployment rate can pop from here. Inflation is still too high. He thinks we're close to the neutral rate now. Why does volatility go up at 8 o'clock? Orders from overnight get filled. Algorithms wake up. It's one of the reasons we used to call it the 8 a.m. scrum. It's because orders get filled overnight randomly. Orders that were placed overnight get filled for some platforms at 8 o'clock. Although that dynamic is kind of changing as more platforms open up earlier. But algorithms wake up, get turned on. A lot of different stuff happens at 8 o'clock. Alright, I have to cut it right here, unfortunately. We're still green on the trade. But I don't want to risk doing the breakdown. It might just bounce right here, honestly. It still kind of looks bullish. Maybe we'll buy it again if we get down to like 450. But I just don't want to go green on the trade. So I'll take the small green trade, and looks like that was the right decision. Look at this. The stop loss level was good. As we start to break down here. We're under 50 now as well, so I don't like this nearly as much. Again, Bitcoin's back up trying to hit 93,000. 93,000 on Bitcoin. Again, if you look at Bitcoin here, 93K. Right here. This is 93,000 right there. That's 93,000. Bitcoin holding and making moves up. The NASDAQ turns down here. Economy outperforms, but there's always some whiplash swings. Big money wakes up at 8 a.m. Yeah, orders get filled, a lot of stuff happening. Supreme Court. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier, David. If they cancel out the tariffs, I don't know what we're going to get in markets. I'm really not sure. So Kashkari is still speaking. He said, I have no idea if Powell stays on after chair term in. Talking about staying on as governor. He said, my expectation is low hiring, but low firing, and that there's a lot of confidence that housing services inflation is coming down. Wage growth is slowly trending down. I expect the economy to remain resilient. I do think there's a risk that the unemployment rate could pop. But again, he said, I expect the economy to remain resilient. Wage growth is slowly trending down, and there's a lot of confidence that housing services inflation is coming down. My expectation is low hiring, but low firing. I have no idea if Powell stays on after his chair term in. He said, there's a risk that the unemployment rate can pop from here. My guess is we're close to neutral. All this. Job market is clearly cooling. He said, I am not concerned about the risks of Fed bank presidents being fired. I'm guessing unemployment is sideways and inflation is down slowly. Again, Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy bought 1,286 Bitcoin worth $116 million. $116 million. I don't have any prizes, Sam. I almost went a little bit too southern with it. I ain't got no prizes for y'all. But no, I don't have prizes. I'm sorry. You win a good job for me. If you voted from 90 to 100, cheers to you. You got it right. That's all you get. Inflation is coming down, isn't it obvious? Yeah, it looks like we got out at the right time, just ain't right. Just at the right time. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see if it was a good exit or not, but so far it is. So far it's the right exit. Again, so Kashkari is still speaking here. He said, I don't agree with Bessent that bank presidents don't represent their districts well. Again, he said he's not concerned about the risk of Fed banks presidents being fired. Would love to see Powell remain as a colleague for as long as he likes. I have no idea if he'll stay on after the chair term ends, but his expectation is low hiring, but low firing. He thinks wage growth is slowly trending down, but he has a lot of confidence that housing services inflation is coming down. What's up, Faye? Job market weakening, wages going down, oil going down, but inflation. Yeah, so just to put this into perspective, housing services inflation is a change over time in what households pay for shelter, for rents and owner's equivalent rents. It's like the rent of primary residence. It's huge because it basically represents the price of housing, price to live somewhere, shelter prices essentially. Official housing services inflation moves slowly because it's based on a rolling sample of rents and others, so it lags real-time new data by about 6 to 12 months though. NASDAQ gets popping back up, so maybe I got out early. I don't know. If we get a dip back down, maybe I'll buy it again, but I gotta wait. We are seeing some positive reactions in markets right now. Again, Kashkari's still speaking here. He said, K-shaped economy still seems to ring true in my district. He says AI is a big company story from what I hear, not an issue with small companies. Again, he said, I don't agree with Bessent that bank presidents don't represent their districts well. Yeah, but basically, Kashkari's comment says that means the Fed officials think that the shelter component, which has been the sticky part of core inflation, is finally set to go down as those lag rent measures carry up. It lowers the measured core and super core services deflation, making it easier for the Fed to justify time cuts without worrying that housing-driven inflation will reaccelerate, if that makes sense, right? So basically, if housing services inflation goes down, it'll open the green for more cuts, potentially, is what it means. Dollar is worth 9% less. Yeah, and precious metals are up too. Again, I want to see if Nvidia, AMD, and others, like if we look at oil here, oil is also rising over the past few hours. Again, gold dipping down a little bit, silver dipping down a little bit as well. Look at the NASDAQ pop here. I think there's a stock driving it. Looks to be Microchip related, like Nvidia, AMD are up. Netflix is down, Apple is down, Meta is down, Microsoft down, Google is green, AMD is green, Nvidia is green. Oh, look at the NASDAQ rip back up here. Wow. Kashkari says lower to middle income anxiety is about inflation. He said we're approaching a kind of equilibrium on tariffs. You guys agree with this? What oil's doing? Yeah, I know Nvidia. Data centers. Yeah, we're popping a little bit here. Look at these moves. Yeah, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button, guys. We appreciate it. The inflation was caused by a huge overspending. Yeah, while we don't have any 8:30 data releases, we do have something. We have ISM manufacturing PMI at 10 a.m. for December. It's expected at 48.3. We also have ISM manufacturing prices for December. They're expected at 59. Both of these are higher than they were previously, slightly. Last time prices were at 58.5. ISM manufacturing last time was at 48.2. It's expected at 48.3 now, so a slight uptick. We had Tesla delivery numbers last week that were a little bit lower. Again, Bitcoin back up to 92.9 thousand here, so it's just under 93K. Do I want to buy this dip now? I kind of do. All right. We'll add a little bit more to this. Government spending has nothing to do. Yeah. GM files to sell a 5 and 10 year debt. And Kashkari said lower to middle income anxiety is about inflation. He says we're approaching a kind of equilibrium on the tariff front. K-shaped economy still seems to ring true in his district, he says. He says AI is a big company story from what I hear, not an issue with small companies. Again, we asked people, you can vote on this poll right now if you want, but we asked people, where will the price of oil per barrel end this year? 48% think it's going to be under $50. All right, we're going to try to add to this. This is a Combine account, so we got a little bit of cushion here. But, give us some time. We're also kind of flat this morning. It's one of the first days where I think people are actually back up and trading. The last 2 weeks that we've had in markets is known as Ghost Week, so it's a pretty quiet week in all honesty. This is the first week that we're actually back up running here, so. Oh my goodness, look at the markets turn. I'm not going to add any more to this. I think I'm going to leave it. Nvidia's bouncing up a little bit now. Yeah, we have Chevron and Exxon up today. A lot of people expected the price of oil to be much lower this morning, but Chevron and Exxon are higher. Mostly just because they think oil is going to be more free-flowing. Especially, you know, in Venezuela specifically. All right, so we're all the way back up here. I'm gonna take half of this off, or no, a third of this off. I mean, take one off here while we're still kind of green. That one. See what happens there. Waiting for the opening bell. Bull or bear at the opening bell? We still got about an hour plus. If Kashkari's still speaking, I think he is. So he says Venezuela affects risks mostly through oil prices. Not seeing it so far. So again, he said it affects risks. It affects risk mostly through oil prices. He says I think American households are in better fiscal position than 20 years ago. Did get a big pop here. Old. But again, Kashkari is still speaking right now. When asked about potential Supreme Court ruling against tariffs, he said it would create new uncertainty. Yeah, let's see what natural gas is doing right now. Yeah, natural gas futures. If you look at NG here, natty gas futures are falling this morning. 340s for NG. Natty gas. Not a big natural gas trader, but they're down a little bit. They've been falling really since a week or two ago. Again, Kashkari says Venezuela affects risk mostly through oil prices, but not seeing it so far. He says I think American households are in better fiscal position than 20 years ago. You guys agree with this? Let's see if we bounce here at the 200 exponential. Again, I'm going to give it a little time here. Oil drops to $10 a barrel. I don't know about that. I don't think so. Again, if you look at actual oil here, oil's at 57. Oil's a little bit green on the day, actually. So, people thought we'd see bigger negative reactions in oil. We just haven't seen that yet. Oil's actually a little green. Look at the previous close than it was Friday. Will Bitcoin break over 93,000 today? What do you guys think in chat? 93K for Bitcoin? You think he's going to get back over there at the open? Again, Michael Saylor's strategy now holds 673,783 Bitcoin, worth about $62.5 billion and $2.25 billion in cash. Looking a little more optimistic for Bitcoin. Again, Bitcoin's sitting just under 93. Here's 93 right here. So right below me, here's Bitcoin. Yeah, I'm going to have to sell some of this probably. We're getting chopped out of it. I'm not going to sell all of it though. I'm going to hold a little piece, but we did good on our actual funded accounts last week though. We did make a lot of money trading silver last week, if you guys remember correctly. $94K Bitcoin for today. Easy. 95,000 Bitcoin breaks. Yep. Oil would drop. Again, Kashkari said Venezuela affects risk mostly through oil specifically. Not seeing it so far though. Oh, it looks like most people do think, yeah, I'm gonna have to cut this. My original exit was right, but we just chopped sideways for about an hour here. Now we're starting to crack these lows. Again, red or green day in markets. Let me know. Bitcoin should tank today. Weekend pump almost always gets retraced on Monday. We'll see, Matthew. You might be right. I don't know. I think it's better that we're close to 93,000 again. 93 is better than 86. Week should be bullish though in stocks, you think? Will equities be bullish this week? I mean, so far equities are up. It has to do with microchips, though. Look at this fall down here. Let's check the news. Still a little slow on news. OKTA announces $1 billion share repurchase program, though. I hope Bitcoin goes up a little bit more before trying to get inverse MicroStrategy. NASDAQ falling down a little bit now here. Bitcoin coming down too. It's at 92.6s. Speaking of Bitcoin. Again, Nvidia's dropping. Looking at Apple. Apple's coming down a little bit as well with other equities. Meta trying to dip. Google trying to dip as well here. NASDAQ fall. Look at this drop. Yeah, I'm still in Target at 86s. Target's at $100 right now. Almost exactly $100. Man, look at this drop in the NASDAQ. So we are falling down in the NASDAQ here. Let me check sources. Make sure we don't have any crazy news coming out right now. Tesla Optimus robot faces setbacks. Let's see if this is Tesla related. Yeah, this might be Tesla causing this drop here, guys. Look at Tesla. So I'm reading this that their Optimus humanoid robot project is facing technical and timeline challenges. Despite the president's recent praise of CEO, the robots remain hand-built, lack full dexterity, and are often remotely operated, prompting delays in factory deployment. The robotics push comes as Tesla's core EV business weakens as of last year's data, with vehicle sales down in 2025 and global EV leadership lost to BYD. So this is Tesla causing these drops right now, and others. But Tesla at 443.80s right now. Again, Tesla Optimus robots facing setbacks, facing technical and timeline challenges. Again, they said they remain hand-built, lack full dexterity, and are often remotely operated, prompting delays in factory deployment. In Tesla's EV business weekend last year, BYD now taking the top global spot for EVs, apparently. But yeah, that news just came out. We'll see if markets hold here. But yeah, that's what's going on. Tesla's steep decline. Right here. Yeah, it kind of drug all the other tech stocks down. Again, Nvidia down, Tesla down. Bitcoin's trending down here. Looks like Kashkari might be done speaking though. Again, Bernstein also tagged defense stock tailwinds. He said the capture of Maduro and rising tensions there increased the likelihood of higher U.S. defense spending. Analysts see potential upside for defense and engineering firms. Broader risks involving Latin America, Iran, Russia, and China. He expects elevated threats to support future defense budgets and remain positive for defense. Yeah, Tesla going down a little bit. Again, Tesla down. We just talked about it, but Optimus robot facing setbacks. Projecting it's facing technical difficulties, timeline challenges. Hand-built robots lack full dexterity and are often remotely operated, which is causing delays in factory deployment, apparently. Again, Tesla's EV business weekend. BYD is now the global leader in EVs. And so, yeah. Tesla dropping a little bit. All right, guys. So again, Tesla's still falling here. So Tesla just dropped a little bit more. Nvidia pulling back as well. We're at 443.50 for Tesla. Bitcoin also down to 92.7s. 92.7s. Again, Nvidia also falling down at 191.20s. Yeah, we got big news this week, guys. We got the payroll report on Friday. We got ADP data on Wednesday. We got jobless claims on Thursday. We have more stuff than that, too. We have ADP prelim. Or no, we have ADP monthly report on Wednesday. We got ISM manufacturing today and ISM services. I think it's tomorrow or Wednesday. ISM services is going to be Wednesday. We have the JOLTS job report Wednesday as well. We got jobless claims Thursday. We got Michigan consumer sentiment data Friday. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff. All right, so look at this rebound back up. Again, you get Tesla starting to bounce back here after dipping some. Yeah, so the biggest day is Thursday, probably. Guessing it's Thursday. I'm guessing it's Thursday. Again, I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing. Assuming. Again, if we take a look at oil here, so here's Tesla, which is one of the reasons the market dipped a little bit over the last 20 minutes here. We take a look at Exxon. Exxon's still very green today, very green. So is Chevron, to be honest. Chevron at 165, Exxon at 126 here. The price of oil is not as bad as it could be as well. It's actually green on the day as well. Although, look at oil start to spike here. So price of crude, $57.85 a barrel right now. Again, Bitcoin's still technically green on the day. It's at 92.7 thousand here. So Bitcoin's very green, very optimistic as well. We also see, again, silver, which is pretty green on the day net. Dipping down, though, since about 4 a.m. this morning. But you can see silver opened up yesterday around here. Silver had a very good day. But it's, again, silver has dipped if we zoom into silver and gold really here. Here's silver over the last 3 or 4 hours. So silver's been coming down. Curious about this 200 exponential level. I wonder if it's going to trend down here. Silver, gold. If we take a look at gold, gold's been breaking down for the last 2 or 3 hours as well. And yeah, let me know what you guys think the market's going to do today. Tech is still pretty green. Oracle is green. Although it's definitely not all of them. Meta's red, technically on the day. Google's red. Or no, Google's green, I'm sorry. Microsoft, technically red on the day now. Meta, Microsoft are red. Look at gold prices. Dipping here. NASDAQ edged it up a little bit, but gold just cracked close to the lows. See if it holds here, guys. Yeah, gold breaking down. Let me check the news. Michael Saylor's strategy takes a $17.4 billion hit in Q4, so it posted a $17.44 billion unrealized loss as Bitcoin's value dropped. Shares have fallen nearly 70% from their 2024 peak. Company sold shares in December to build a cash reserve amid declining confidence. And again, as we're saying that, gold is moving down. Kind of flat over the last 10 minutes, though. What I really want to see is what NVIDIA and other microchips are doing today. They're mostly green. Microchip stocks are pumping. NVIDIA at 191s. So I do want to see what these do. Again, here's NVIDIA, Tesla. Tesla will be $1,000 by this time next year. Let's wait for big money to wake up. Non-farm payrolls on Friday. 8:30 Eastern Standard Time on Friday is when NFP data comes out. Yeah, Palantir green on the day on defense stuff. 173s for Palantir closed previous day at 167s. Just under 168s. It's now 173, almost 174s. Yeah, in the last 2 weeks, it's just been boring and kind of quiet for economic reports. We haven't got a ton. Tesla starting to rebound back up. We had Kashkari speaking earlier. He said, I think American households are in better fiscal position than 20 years ago. Asked about possible Supreme Court ruling against admin on tariffs, said it would create new uncertainty. That lower to middle income anxieties about inflation specifically. We're approaching a kind of equilibrium on the tariff front. K-shaped economy still seems to ring true. Says AI is big company story from what I hear, not issues with small companies. MU, again, microchips are up. So you look at MU, it's green. Look at NVIDIA, green. You look at TSM, it's green. Microchips, you look at Palantir, green is at 174s basically. Do these hold right now, guys? Do we see holds in these stocks? Yeah, do we hold here? Tesla at $444. Again, Tesla dipped recently over the last 20 minutes, specifically from worries about production and the Optimus robots, worries about Tesla not being the global leader in EVs as BYD takes the #1 spot. But basically, we had an article here that said the robots remain hand-built, lack dexterity, and are often remotely operated, which is causing delays in factory deployment of the Optimus robots. So on this story, which dropped about 15 minutes ago, you can see Tesla dipping down some here. So Tesla has been falling down on this. We'll see if it holds. We'll see if it holds. Again, you can kind of see Tesla driving markets down. All microchip stocks and others higher. It's crazy that we're in 2026 already, to be honest. Like, it really is crazy that we're in 2026. It feels like 2025 flew past. All right, gold starting to rebound here. I'll put the NASDAQ up so we can see what it's doing here. Here's the NQ. It is back up a little bit now. Get NVIDIA pumping back up to highs. Highs of the day in NVIDIA are about 191.80s, just under 192. And we are all the way back up to 191.65. So we're getting pretty close to all highs of the day for NVIDIA. Tesla still needs to break and hold 464. Yeah, I mean, I'm just reading the articles coming out. It's not like I'm publishing these articles, guys. Get Palantir at 174s. To be a perma bull works for me. I mean, I kind of am. I mean, I like markets going up. Sate's lost. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Again, markets are still kind of flat, but I do want to see if one we can maybe get in some small trades here alongside. Yeah, I'd trust this man if he's saying it. It's probably true. You talking about me? I mean, I'm just reading articles that are coming out. I'm gonna give you guys the most real-time news. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You're welcome. I've got a bunch of different sources, so as soon as I see a source drop, I give you guys the update on it. All right, guys. So a little bit quiet here after some very accurate, humble guy. Top 3 most humble ever, I would say. I'd say there's a list of the most humble. I'm up there, you know. Definitely humble. Yeah, they are. Like, I love my kids, but I'm ready for them to go back to school. It's time. No Kansas City? Yeah, get Kansas City out of there, dude. Nobody wants to see them win again. I'm not saying the refs help them, but the refs help them 100%. Uh, all right, guys, let's see if we hold now. Let's see if we hold heading into the opening bell today. You guys think we bounce right here? Again, I'm looking at NVIDIA. I like to look at whole dollar numbers here, so I'm going to draw some levels on these charts. If it lets me. Like, I want to draw some levels on these charts. So I'm going to look at 50 right here, especially I was going to draw one right here at 50 because look at that 50 bounce. I think markets are just respecting it. I want to look at 425s right here as well. We can probably look at 420 though, just 'cause it's so low right here. And it's so isolated right there. We got to look at the high up here, I think, this little guy. Gonna find like a converged spot here. I would say maybe right here at 65. There. Those are probably the big levels that I have on my charts. If you guys see another one, like I think maybe we can look at. I don't know about that one. Maybe we can look at like right here at 50. I think this is just markets reacting to 50. Maybe we can look at 45 right there. I'm gonna look at these levels right here just to see if we get any reactions. You get a trading at Bloomberg is where I go for all my stock market news. Yeah, I'm looking at news. One of the things I've seen is natty gas move here. If we look at natural gas, what is natural gas? I always forget the symbol for natural gas. NG? Yeah, it's NG. Natural gas is down on the day as well. If you look at NG. Natural gas is down to 314.12s here, 314.12s. It's been mostly dipping all morning. It's volatile. Yeah, it's hot here in Texas. AI says natural gas is selling off because the market is pricing in a milder winter and softer demand. I know it's been warm here. It has been warm on my end, guys. It's been hot. Like I wore t-shirts and shorts and flip-flops the other day. You know? Like, it's been hot here. It's been warm. Honestly, I'm for it, though. I need some sunlight. Ledger admits that its sensitive customer data was leaked due to a data breach. $27 in New York. Yeah. Warmer than normal weather making natty gas drop, I guess. Yeah, I'm checking news right now. Again, LME 3-month copper hits 13,000 a ton for the first time. Last up 4.2% to a fresh record. Yeah, it's a hard day to trade right now. If we look at the NASDAQ here, it's just a hard day to trade. It's not an easy day. Like, especially over the last few hours, the NASDAQ has gone down and then up and down big and then up big and now back down. You could probably say we're in like a slight expanding pattern here on the downside, but it just looks tough. fake out city right now. Up big, down big, up big, down. So just be careful. Be careful. I don't know if I should trade gold or what. We're trading our combine right now just to mess around with it, but I'm in Houston roughly. Basically Houston. Look at Bitcoin fall, guys. Bitcoin down to 92.5. Where's 92.5? 92.5 is right here. So let's see if 92.5 holds. But Bitcoin's falling down a little bit as we speak. Nvidia reports earnings, I believe in February is most likely. Nvidia is usually a little bit later, so Nvidia earnings are going to come out probably in February. Yeah, it's going to be 225 is what I show for Nvidia earnings, 225. So we are now in the micros here. Start to unload about half of these right now. Love to see it though. Look at this move. Take another piece off up there. I could probably hold the rest of this break even. Bitcoin did bounce. Look at this. Look at where Bitcoin bounced, guys. I drew this line before it bounced as well. 92,500. Psychological level. I'm gonna take a little bit more off here too. Check the trade some. I'll try to hold the rest break even. You think Nvidia will have good or bad earnings next time? I don't know. Alright, so Mexico's Shine Bomb rejects the U.S. intervention in Venezuela. Yeah, I'm not going to go into whether it was a good thing or bad thing about Venezuela. That's way too political for me. Again, I'm just not going to go into that. What I do know is that oil is going to be a little bit more free-flowing now. And so that's generally good for oil companies, especially the ones that are already on the ground like Exxon over there. So Exxon, Chevron are gapping up on this. Oil prices, you might expect them to be a little bit lower today, but they're kind of flat. Again, gold and silver reacting and microchips are up. Palantir is up because of defense-related sympathy and movement. Again, Nvidia is up. 191.50s. DSM is up at 328s. Microchip stocks are generally bullish. AMD is up to almost 230s right now. Yeah, so Claudia Scheinbaum publicly condemned the raid. Alright, so we're in this trade. Again, I'm buying this because market has been basically sideways all day. And so the reason I bought this, and we've already taken a majority of the position off, but the reason we bought it is because markets have been sideways and I expect that trend to continue. Not necessarily saying it will, but that's what I'm looking at. Market's been kind of flat over the last, what is this? Yeah, last hour or so. Markets have been flat, and there we go. I'm going to take a little bit more off up here, too. Look at that pop. Cut half. I love it when exactly what I'm saying right now happens. About to unload a little bit more here. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm saying that's what markets are pricing in, Nick. We've got a very small position left. A very small position left. We've already scaled out of most of it. Maybe I'll add back on a dip if I want, but look at Bitcoin, man. I might start trading Bitcoin just price action, because sometimes Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin, because it's a little bit newer of an asset relative to a lot of other markets like the S&P or the NASDAQ or indexes, I think sometimes it has a little bit cleaner technical movement, if that makes sense. And so I think sometimes looking at these big psychological levels, even if we're just talking short-term day trades, it'd be more valid with Bitcoin. Again, you can kind of see that move right here at 92.5 thousand. A bit more technical of movement. Again, so the big news is that Mexico's president on Venezuela said we reject interference in the internal affairs of states. That news just came out. So, again, rejecting the U.S. intervention in Venezuela is essentially what they're saying. Hey, John, do you think MicroStrategy is going to get delisted next week? Not necessarily. No. Hey, later, Sam. Yeah, NASDAQ's trying to get back up here. Oh, green, I don't know where I should take this profit off, though. We're getting more volatility than we've seen lately. Market's been quiet lately. And we are going to be day trading the opening bell today. Yeah, we have Colombia also disapproving of it. Their president is... If the NASDAQ still comes up. Yeah, of course. Gary. Of course he's not going to approve it. I'm looking at oil prices here too. Oil prices are stagnating a little bit, but they're green. Brent crude is what I mean. Crude prices are up on the day. I don't know if Brent prices are going to hold though. We'll see. All right, this NASDAQ trade's looking really nice. I'm going to take another piece off right here. This is just a big move. Yeah, so Colombian President Gustavo Petro said he's ready to defend the country from threats. See if we continue to see rises here. Again, here's Nvidia. Nvidia's really close to highs of the day, but I don't know if this is Nvidia causing these ups in markets. We could look at Tesla, which had bad news earlier, but it's starting to kind of rebound back up. I think Tesla's one of the reasons. Worries about delays in the Optimus robot shipments caused Tesla to go down. Not that long ago, maybe 30 minutes ago, we had this drop in Tesla. And it looks like the drop, we're starting to feel some of that drop back up to 445s for Tesla. So... yeah, we finally got some volume back in markets. It was time, dude. I was getting bored the last few weeks. We had no economic data as well because, again, the last 2 weeks have been called Ghost Week. That's what's called Ghost Week in markets, where there's nothing going on. Markets are closed half the time. Days that are open, we don't really have any big economic reports or briefs or anything. And so, yeah, it's just good to get some volatility now in markets. Something's going on. All right, I'm going to add to this and then hold the rest break even. So I'm just going to add size back. We already took profit. See if we continue higher, which we're starting to now. And then we'll just cut the rest break even with a really nice green trade, even if that happens at this point in time. Again, copper prices are extending gains to hit a new record high, now up 4.5% today for copper. If you take a look at copper here, we'll come back to this trade. But if we look at copper, copper's at all-time highs. At currently $5.95, 96 cents for copper futures. Copper's rallying. Yeah, so copper pulling back a little bit. We'll see if that holds. Again, we are in the micro NASDAQ right now. See if we continue higher. Hey, nice job, Sublime. Good job, dude. All right, Tesla's still reaching back higher here, 445s. Still watching news. News is still a little. We got better news today, but it's still a little quiet. So KeyBank, which is a firm, says Venezuela action could push oil prices higher. KeyBank's Tim Resvin keeps $65 WTI outlook after the U.S. captured all the who they did over the weekend. He warns Friday's oil prices underestimated geopolitical risks, including regional ripple effects in Mexico and Colombia and tensions. He highlights overweight oil picks FANG, MGY, MTDR, SM, and Tallow, noting markets remain complacent and rising global risk premiums. You guys agree with him? Again, check out Top Step if you haven't already. There's no PDT rule in futures. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, Gold, commodities. Great way to learn how to day trade when most day traders lose. Just a beautiful way to help learn to day trade when most day traders lose. They recently lowered their activation fees universally and more. I'll put the link up. They are a sponsor of mine. I am biased because I get paid by them. They're genuinely useful for traders. I'll put the link up right there. Understand all this stuff on screen. I'm not an investment professional. I have no idea half the time what's going on. Do not copy me. Not liable if you lose money. But we are very green on this trade. Let's see if it continues here. Don't copy me, but we are getting a bounce higher here. I'm going to unload another half of this trade. It is going to bring my average all the way up, but I think locking in profits on the rise is important. We'll hold the rest pretty close to break even. See if we can keep going higher here. The NASDAQ high of the day is right up here on 587s. Right here is the high of the day, and we're still rising right now. If it holds. Yeah, honestly, we're getting close to this high of the day here. Look at this pop. I'm gonna take it off right here, to be honest, guys. We're getting pretty close to the opening bell. I mean, we still got 30 minutes, but you know, I always tell you guys, like, my favorite way to trade is to take a ride up to that top of the range. I like, a lot of people love targeting like high of the day breakouts right here, and sometimes that does happen. Like, sometimes we are gonna break highs up here and continue higher. But for me specifically, I'm just not really interested and buying high of the day breakouts. I think it's a little bit risky. And so what I'd prefer to do is look for a range. And look, as I say that, we're breaking highs. NASDAQ just broke highs of the day. We're up to 587s. But I would rather target like a range up to the highs like this, if that makes sense. I'm looking for this range right here where I want to ride it up to the top and then take profit. Because sometimes at these top levels, we just get rejected. Experienced traders sometimes take profit around these highs. And so, you know, I think new traders a lot of the time love to buy high of the day breakouts. It's kind of something that they do. But I think experienced traders a lot of the time are going to take profit around these high levels. You get liquidity grabs up there too, where you move up, break highs, and then dump back down as well. I'm just not really trying to get stuck in that. Yeah, I don't really see any news. I think NASDAQ's just going green on the day. Let me see. Hold on. The Switzerland freezes all of their assets related to Venezuela. Swiss Federal Council has blocked all Swiss-based assets linked to the Venezuelan president and his associates effective immediately. They stated that if funds are found to be illicit, they will aim to benefit the Venezuelan people. Freeze adds to existing sanctions. Oh my gosh, where's my music? Okay, I can't do this song. This song's just there we go. Yeah, NASDAQ did pop. Again, it doesn't look like it's losing momentum. Yeah, so Andorran's hedge fund paired 2025 lost to 40% on metals rally. South Korea presidential advisor says they agree to contribute to peace in the region as uncertainty in international politics is growing. Yeah, I mean, here's a dip at these highs. Maybe we continue back up, and I think a lot of people might actually buy this pullback right here. I don't necessarily hate it if we like go into support maybe at like 75 right here. Like 75 could cause a bounce right here. But it's just not a trade I'm taking. Bitcoin again heading back higher here. And there's the bounce at 75. Hey, listen. People say that people can say whatever they want, but when you're right, you're right. I should have bought it. I should have bought it. Again, I think a lot of people are buying 75. It makes sense. We're up to 585s right now. Oil still pushing higher here. Brent crude up to $58 a barrel in futures. Broke highs of the day again. Yeah, another thing to understand here about these levels, guys, is like when we do bounce, a lot of the time we're going to be at $quarter levels. Not always. It's never 100%. Nothing in markets or trading is 100%. But when we do bounce, the reason I'm able to say, hey, we might bounce here at 75 is because it's a $quarter level. Just like I could say, hey, we might bounce at 50. And so we break highs, we pull back to a milestone level like 575 right here, and that's exactly where we bounce. That's where traders decide to step in. It's a psychological aspect of it, like a psychological dynamic of it, where people pay attention a little bit more just to $quarter levels like 25, 50, 75, 100. And so when we get pullback levels, a lot of the time they're right at those levels. I should have bought though. There's not enough meat on the move for me, but let's see what 600 does right here. We're right back up to 600, whole dollar number. Yeah, it's time, guys. We'll see what we get. Here's 600. 600 could reject it too. I don't know. How that looks like it happened. Bitcoin back up to 97, so. Gold? Yeah, oil up $58 barrel right now. Gold is climbing back higher. The highs of the day on gold are about 51.7. Silver highs of the day. We're almost up to $76 in silver. But yeah, highs of the day are right around 76 bucks. Silver, a little bit over it, but like 76.05 is the high of the day for silver. NASDAQ is looking strong here. Okay, I'm also seeing that NVIDIA's Omniverse software for robotics shows slow returns despite big ambitions. It shuttered the Omniverse cloud service due to nearly non-existent demand, according to the information. I'm reading an article about that right now. All right, we're up to over 600s now at 602. Silver's pushing higher. Bitcoin's pushing higher. We're up to 604s right now. Yeah, so Omniverse is basically stacked for training and testing robots in a virtual world before they touch actual hardware. But despite the big vision, the business is sluggish according to people. Customers haven't been paying much yet, especially for the full managed cloud version. That means NVIDIA closed or drastically scaled back their Omniverse cloud offerings because not enough enterprises were signing up. But again, with that said, look at the NASDAQ pump here. NVIDIA broke highs of the day, got up to 192.20s. This is probably the one aspect of my trade that I missed out where I should have held because NVIDIA looks strong. Bitcoin is up on actions in Venezuela, apparently. Bitcoin is up as traders reacted to the U.S. stuff in Venezuela. Speculation over seizures. Reportedly, over 600,000 BTC could reduce supply and boost prices, according to people. One of the reasons Bitcoin is higher. And as I say that, look at the NASDAQ pop. Look at Bitcoin pop up to 92.8 thousand here, chat. Yeah, so again, the NVIDIA CES 2026 is today. Apparently this is at 4 p.m. Eastern. If this helps. About 4 p.m. market time is when the NVIDIA CES speech will happen. All right, let's see if 600 holds here now, but look at silver, guys. Silver just broke highs of the day. It's up to over $76 an ounce. Gold, on the other hand, is up to $44.32 an ounce. Not as strong as silver, but get NVIDIA and other microchips pushing higher here. NASDAQ pushing higher. Yeah, 75 was the number. Yeah, 75 was the number for sure. Yeah, we do have ISM manufacturing PMI in about 45 minutes. About 40 minutes, actually. So we'll see if, or actually it's in about 53 minutes, my bad. All right, the president just tweeted. And the president tweeted this. All right, I'm going to read what the president tweeted. Again, I'm quoting the president here. He said, quote, We have taken in and will soon be receiving more than $600 billion in tariffs, but the fake news media refuses to talk about it because they hate our country and want to interfere with the upcoming tariff decision, one of the most important ever of the United States Supreme Court. Because of tariffs, our country is financially and from a national security standpoint far stronger and more respected than ever before. God bless America. U.S. President Donald J. Trump is what he just tweeted. I don't know if this is going to affect markets too much, but I figured I would talk about it either way. But he did just tweet that. Again, spot palladium is over 5%. Yeah, Happy New Year's, Raymond. Thank you, brother. Well, I want to buy the $600 level. I don't think so, not right now. I think Nvidia's starting to dip. Bitcoin's starting to dip. Silver has been the crazy mover, though. Look at silver, guys. Silver's up to 76. Look at silver pump right now. Silver is right over here. Look at silver. John, what stock will have the highest return for 2026? Oh, man. Google? I don't know. I'm just speculating. What do you guys think? What stock will have the best return this year? I'm going to go with Google. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to go with Google here. Nike? I hope Nike, bro. I'm in Nike. I'm already up so much, though. Average price of Nike's 57s. It's at 63s. Oracle's almost back to 200 as well. I got an average price of 182 in Oracle, 182. 20 minutes until the opening bell, guys. We'll see what we get. MicroStrategy, Tesla, Meta, Amazon. Amazon it. Amazon had a big red day Friday. Why was this? QCOM expects decade-long collaboration with Google for automotive innovation and AI-powered mobility. Why did Amazon drop so much on Friday? Investors repricing how expensive AI and CapEx plans are relative to near-term profits. Amazon's roughly 17% off its November high. Growing chatter about respecting the cycle. Valuation is rich. CapEx on AI logistics is huge in October 26 FTC trust trial. Hanging over the name. Some institutions are trimming. AI AWS narrative stays bullish. Silver up to 76.5. Just tapped 76.5 in silver futures. Silver's still pumping up right now, guys. I don't know. I'm green on my Disney trade, too, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm green on it. My average price in Disney is 109s. So. But I'm in silver. I'm in Oracle. I'm in Nike. If it holds, but silver, guys. Look at silver. Silver's the story right now. If we put up silver on the big chart, look at this rise. Silver. This is the story right now. 76.5s. Silver. Huge moves. Again, QCOM introduces a full suite of robotics tech. Here's QCOM. Type right. Yeah, look at QCOM pop on this. Again, they debuted a full suite of robotics technology. Might be dragging the NASDAQ and other tech stocks higher, but look at silver. I don't like or dislike Disney. I'm in Disney long term though. I buy it on pullbacks. I've done the same thing for Disney for 5 years. Every time Disney dips down to $80 or $90 a share, I buy it, and it usually bounces back to, 115 or so, 110, 15. So I don't care about the political dynamic of anything. I'm just looking at edge, and I think Disney, when it gets down to $75 or $80, it tends to get bought up, and once it gets up to 115, 120, it tends to dip a little bit, and so I just try to take advantage of that dynamic. Yeah, Governor Walz says he will not seek re-election. Look at NVIDIA bounce right here, too. I don't know why I have this red line right here on my NVIDIA chart, but look at it. Again, this was drawn, I don't know how long. It wasn't today. I don't know where that red line comes from, but it's probably the top 3 greatest level of all time right there. Yeah, where's GameStop at right now? But look at silver pump, guys. Wow. Look at the Q. Rip up here. Retesting highs. Silver, man. That's the story. I think it's really rising up to 76.5s. Silver still moving. NASDAQ getting close to the high of the day. We got about 15 minutes until the open. We're gonna day trade. We're green on the day, technically day trading. Good. Green is always good. We made a bunch last week as well. Again, NASDAQ has been moving higher, 76.5s. For silver, NASDAQ at 25.6s. Bitcoin still struggling to get over 93, but a lot of people think it's going to break 93,000 today. Yeah, silver, man. Again, I'm in silver. It's helping my positions today for sure. I'm in Oracle as well, though. Oracle has done me really well. You know what I'm in right now where I'm not sure if I should add to it or not is PayPal. What do you guys think? Should I add to PayPal? 58.30s for PayPal. Part of me thinks I should. Such a small position too. You know what? I think I'm going to. Scale in, fix my average a little bit. It's not a big position, but again, I'm honestly genuinely thinking about taking this bet on Fed decision in January being a pause. The return's pretty slim, though. Pretty slim return. I don't know about that. Pretty slim. I mean, I've seen crazier things happen that move the odds of rates. But I would say that if I'm good at anything, it's predicting what the Fed's going to do. And I don't think we're going to cut rates in January. Not unless we have a really, really weak labor report, which I think is unlikely. So nice haircut. It was time. It was time to cut it off. Much. No. All right, guys, we got 14 minutes until the market opens here. 14 minutes. It's still been pretty light for economic reports. Economic data's been a little slim. for the last 2 weeks. But we are back. Some volatility. Silver dipping down a little bit ahead of the opening bell. NASDAQ still kind of creeping up. Nvidia's been interesting as well. Tesla had some bad news, but it kind of got bought back up afterwards here. If you look at Tesla, back up to 445, basically where it was prior to the news coming out. So it got bought right back up. And yeah, we'll see if we get anything good. Pause or cut doesn't matter. AK, it's not the actions of the Fed, it's the words that matter. Yeah, I mean, look, the reason I was even considering making that bet is because if you read the last FOMC minutes report, one of the things that it said is that the Fed members widely agreed that we could cut rates in December and then slow down the rate cuts, like slow down the dovishness for a little while and let things balance out a little bit, which means that we can essentially cut rates last month and then we're going to pause for some time moving forward. And I think even if we get a weak labor report, I still don't necessarily think we're going to cut this month. And so I think honestly, I'm not an investment professional. Do not copy me. I'm not liable if you lose. I think it's kind of a safe bet, you know. Now, unemployment data does come out Friday. Maybe it's better to take that bet afterwards, but I think the odds are going to get even tighter afterwards as well. But I think even if we get higher unemployment, even if we get weaker labor data, I still don't think we're going to cut in January. I still don't think we're going to cut this month. So, is it risk-free? No. There's obviously risks, and maybe I'll eat my words from it. But yeah. Did they really have Jake winning his recent fight? That's a dumb bet. I never for a second thought he would win. I didn't know if he would get KO'd or win a decision. I honestly thought he would win a decision. But yeah. And NASDAQ is breaking highs of the day as we speak here. I'll put the NASDAQ back up, and we'll still put silver up here. Here's the NQ over highs, just tapped 620s on the day now. 620s is the high of the day. Again, silver stocks, silver pumping higher here. Silver just broke highs of the day as I say that. 76.65 for silver, 76.67s now. Yeah, I mean, I think the world celebrated the Jake Paul thing. All right, guys, we're up to 620s here, 620s. Get silver at 76, 72s. I didn't see that. Somebody bet 30K. They knew something. They knew something. Again, if we look at crude here, guys, crude is actually pushing higher a little bit today. Crude is technically green on the day. It's at $58 a barrel right now. $58 a barrel for crude. Well, guys, I've said it once. I say it again. I should have held. Should have held. All right, guys, we got 9 minutes until the market open. 9 minutes. Let's see what we get. Yeah, I mean, we are rebounding into the open. I mean, look, NASDAQ broke highs just now. Got up to new highs of the day at 625s. Again, another $25 level, guys. Look at this, exactly at 25s right here. Telling you, watch $quarter levels. Makes sense. Hey. All right. Nvidia dipping down a little bit, but yeah, we tapped 625s. Oil again right around $58 a barrel. Nvidia has been pushing higher here, pushing markets higher. Bitcoin still at 92.7s. I'm watching that 93,000 level for Bitcoin. I think that's a big psychological level people are going to be paying attention to. All right, I gotta change this song. I don't even know where this song's coming from. All right, guys, we got the opening bell in 7 minutes here. 7 minutes. And pre-market is good. Always a buyer strike causing. Yeah, I mean, sometimes we see macro stories unwind at the opening bell or reinforce. Like, what I mean by that is if the big story in pre-market is fear or chaos and the market's still pushing up a little bit, sometimes we'll see corrections at the opening bell, or sometimes you'll see continuations. We have that in about 6.5 minutes. We'll see what we get. We do have ISM manufacturing PMI data at 10 a.m. today. I don't know if it's going to be some big movement here, but it's something to pay attention to at the very least. An ISM manufacturing PMI at 10 a.m. market time. No, I don't like AT&T or Verizon at all, sublimed. I'm just not a big fan of that, just specifically because I think those businesses are going to lose money over. I don't think they're necessarily going to lose money, but I think they're going to lose market share over time. They're going to lose interests. Why? Because streaming services, fiber optic internet, less contracts, more pay as you go month to month dynamics in those industries. And so over time, I think they're just going to lose business. Now, they might find ways to make more business. That's true. And maybe if they do, I'll be interested in buying them. But for now, I'm just not really interested in those companies. AT&T and Verizon, they're just not what they're not what I'm optimistic about moving into the future. And again, maybe I'm wrong here. I could certainly be. But it's just not I'm just not interested in buying that, if that makes sense. Again, you guys can, tell me why I'm right or wrong. It's all good. We can have a conversation about it. But I play Verizon every quarter. Tesla actually 454 level to break. Yeah, Tesla had bad news about potential. As I say this, look at the NASDAQ. Just broke highs of the day. It's at 25.6. Verizon has a pattern based on dividends. Yeah, no, for sure. I know about the dividend dynamic, and Verizon pays big dividends too. I know they're a high dividend paying company. This is more regarding investing. As a dividend paying company, they might be solid. But yeah, this is just more investing related. Yeah, silver, guys. Look at silver. Got up to 76.76. The silver. Look at the NASDAQ break highs of the day again, up to 25.630s now, too. The NASDAQ is pushing higher here as well. It's been a slow couple weeks, but we got economic data coming back. Finally this week, we got some stuff to talk about. We got ADP data Wednesday, ISM services Wednesday, ISM manufacturing today. We got JOLTS job openings on Wednesday. We got jobless claims Thursday. We got the labor report on Friday. We got Michigan data on Friday. And then next week, we get CPI inflation Tuesday. Retail sales Wednesday, PPI Wednesday, jobless claims Thursday next week. The week after that, I believe, is the Fed meeting. Might be wrong. Let me see. Actually, it might be the week after that. Yeah, well, Bitcoin was reacting positively. Look at the NASDAQ pop. The Bitcoin's up on the day because they think they're going to see Bitcoins. Is essentially what it is. I think it was. I have to look at the actual number. But look at Google as well. Google is also pushing up on the day here right now. So here's Google. 317s. Google's making some moves. And again, we do have ISM manufacturing PMI today. See what that looks like at 10 o'clock. ISM manufacturing and ISM prices are expected to show up slightly higher than the previous numbers. NASDAQ's dipping down. It's silver been on a tear, and NVIDIA at 192s. Yeah, people ask me what stock I think is going to do the best, and I said Google, maybe. Google, maybe Amazon, to be honest, but it's hard to tell. But Google, I think, is primed to do well. Yeah, we got 2 minutes until the opening bell, guys. Make sure you hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. Catch up to the stream. And hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. We'll see what we get today. I am technically green day trading on the day. I am technically green. All right, we got about a minute and a half left into the opening bell, guys. About a minute and a half. Look at NVIDIA turn. Whoa. Look at NVIDIA turn. This might be the market on open making this volatility show up, but look at NVIDIA on the opening bell, guys. Wow. Look at NVIDIA just turned. Could be the market on open. We're gonna keep silver, NVIDIA, Bitcoin, and the NASDAQ up right now on charts. If you want me to look at anything else, let me know. But we got less than a minute left, chat. Less than a minute left. All right, look at the NASDAQ still hold here, 640s. NVIDIA getting bought back up. Look at the NASDAQ hold. Whoa. Again, 30 seconds until the opening bell. 30 seconds. Google is pumping up. Microsoft's heading up. Meta's heading up a little bit. Apple's still red. And other microchips like AMD are also heading up right now. Look at the NASDAQ push higher here. All right, here we go. 10 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. You'll catch up to the stream. Easy call. I knew the algos would hurt bulls. We'll see here. We're actually breaking highs at the NASDAQ. There's the opening bell. Again, AMD's pushing at the opening bell. Look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA just got bought right back up here. It's at 192.60s right now. So we're actually seeing bullishness at the open. 193s almost for the NVIDIA. NASDAQ is following it higher here. We're at 25,667s right now, partially driven by AMD and Google, as well as NVIDIA and Microchip strength pumping up here. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is also increasing at the open at 92.7s. So far, so good. Green action at the opening bell, guys. Green action moving forward here. Look at this bullishness at the opening bell. AMD, guys. Google moving up. NVIDIA moving up right now. Very strong. The opening bell, very, very strong. Yeah, I'm looking at news. I don't see anything. I see Bank of America CEO confirms Gen Z's hiring nightmares. Real banks hire just 2,000 recent graduates from 200,000 applications, according to Fortune. In NVIDIA, a little bit of a green open. Good turn. Sometimes the first move at the bell is the wrong move, so I'm just going to wait. I got to follow my rules and wait about 3 to 4 minutes here. Chat. Definitely a strong open so far, though, but we could turn. NASDAQ's turning back down here. Here's 625s. Bitcoin's turning back down as well. Again, Google gave back some of its run. AMD did as well. And we're back up to 193s or close to it. So NVIDIA's still holding. Again, if we take a look at AMD, Apple, 70s. NVIDIA's right at the highs of the day, though. NVIDIA's at 193.50, so NVIDIA is pushing here. Hey, good luck, Tiny. Yeah, remember, we got ISM manufacturing PMI later at 10 a.m. too. So, we got some data coming out. NASDAQ fell though. Apple's down. It's turning. Bitcoin's falling. We're talking about Intel. Yeah, Intel gapping up as well. Just chip company. Look at Apple. Look at Nvidia. Tesla. 446s. Look at this red candle now in the NASDAQ. So we opened up sharply higher, but now we're starting to turn back down a little bit in tech. Nvidia. And here's Meta. AMD. Fell a couple dollars a share. Broadcom. Down big. Look at Broadcom. Get AVGO at 347s here. Get Nvidia just broke highs of the day though. At 588. Look at this level right here. But yeah, AVGO falling. Nvidia just tapped highs right here. Look, highs of Nvidia right. We're about 4 minutes in the day. It kind of looks weak to be honest here. But it's too early to tell to be honest. I'll wait. All right, we're bouncing at 588s. We're trying to hold. All right, so we can trade now, but I gotta wait for some better price action. Let's do a poll right now. So we're gonna do a poll as we're waiting for some of this. Are you bullish or bearish right now? You can vote on this poll. Let me know what you guys think, bull or bear. AVGO still dropping. It looks weak here. Okay, we got on a short in the micro NASDAQ, but I think it's kind of turning back here a little bit. We might add some to it if we retrace back down, but it's definitely not a risk-free trade. We're green on the day, though. There we go. Come on. There we go. We're going to start taking some profit on this trade off. We took a lot of that off already. Very green. We can probably hold the rest, maybe add to it if it goes in my favor. I do want to cover around the 200 exponential right around where we're at now, in case we bounce there. So we're out. We're up a couple hundred on the day now. Yes, we have manufacturing data going live. Look at that 550 level right here. Look at it. Broadcom, Nvidia, Bitcoin. How's silver doing? Silver's pulling back as well here. Looks like we got out just in time, but man. Check the news. White House official says Witkoff and Kushner will represent the U.S. at talks in Paris on Tuesday. All right, we're still heading back up here. I want to buy this dip now and kind of pivot the other way. If we get a deeper pullback, I'll buy it. We got a cushion on the day now. Look at 575. All right, we're gonna buy right here. There we go. There. All right, let's take it off. All right. You can hold on to the rest of this pretty loose here, I think. Maybe add back to it if I want. All right. Yeah, I see people spamming. Like, look, if anybody's got to go to other people's channels and spam their own channel, they're probably not good. That's not how successful YouTubes operate. Kind of sleepy. All right, we're gonna add to this, but we're very green on the day either way. I'm gonna cut it here. We're still very green. So we're very green on the day. We made a bunch. We got a decent cushion. I don't know what I want to do. I think if we retrace back up quickly, I'll buy a pullback. See if we can go green on the day. But I think if we continue downward in some of these microchip stocks, like Nvidia, obviously is looking weak, but it's kind of at a breaking point here. Like, you can see this big low level from just before the open at 191.25 or so right here for Nvidia. I think if we break underneath that and continue down, obviously it's not good. Broadcom continuing to push. Bitcoin almost back up to 93,000 here. And I'm looking at silver too. Here's silver. Kind of looking at everything. Silver's kind of quiet though. I mean, relative to a lot of other stuff at the opening bell. On a 1 minute chart on silver, just to put this into perspective, silver opened up right here. So, I mean, yeah, we're down a very small amount for silver since the opening bell, but it's not a crazy move down, especially considering the moves it was making prior to the opening bell. $5.50 still holding here. If we hold, see if we break down underneath. We're at 5.50 now. Silver, with that said, though, just broke down deeply under 76. It's at 75.75 now. Nvidia's still falling down. NASDAQ looking weak. Want to get 550s though. The Nvidia is still breaking down here. I think 190 might be a psychological level for for Nvidia though, so I might buy this up actually. Maybe I'm wrong though. Not really having a chance to buy it up here, I think. Okay, I'm gonna buy this up here, this little retracement back down. Got a big enough cushion on the day to justify it, I think. I want to see if Nvidia bounces at 9. Add a little bit to this here. I'm not gonna add any more. I'll leave it here. Here we go. We're green. I'm gonna remove a little bit of this to protect. Video bounces here like I want it to. I'm gonna take a little bit more off of there just to protect it, just so it's a green trade. Like I took it off at the right time too, because we down. I'll give it a second. Go. Gonna break even. There we go. What we wanted to see. We'll slowly take some more off here. We add a little bit to it. We do have ISM manufacturing PMI data coming out soon. A little bit more off up here. Cut it right there. Pretty good trade, honestly. We did get the NVIDIA bounce right here, which helped drive the NASDAQ back up with it. Look at Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin way over 93s now at 93,234s. Nike doing? Ooh, Nike's up. Yeah, I'm going to leave it, though. I mean, I already got a really good average for Nike. We're very green on the day and almost everything. All right, remember, guys, we do have ISM manufacturing PMI at 10 a.m. NASDAQ's still getting bought up. All right, we're at 625s. Now look at that level tap here. Scared? Yeah. Where's Netflix at right now? Netflix is pushing up too. I'm in Netflix also, by the way. I might want to add more to it. What did I buy this morning? Oh, I added to PayPal. We're green on that one. Okay, good. Yeah, we added to PayPal this morning. I don't know how much volatility ISM manufacturing PMI is going to bring. I really don't. Maybe it brings a lot. Maybe it doesn't. Hard to tell, to be honest. 10 minutes. So I'll put a timer up. We got about 15 minutes. NASDAQ starting to push towards highs of the day. Yeah, ISM manufacturing PMI 5. We are heading higher here. Look at this. Silver's rebounding back up. NVIDIA's bouncing back up. I thought it would bounce around 90, and it did. It went a little bit lower than 90, but still the idea of the trade worked. So. How you guys doing? You guys red or green on the day? We did a poll. Are you bullish or bearish right now? 62% were bullish, 38% bearish. Silver's starting to push towards highs of the day as well. Would buy like $600 on the NASDAQ. I'll think about it. Yeah, I think we have the volatility to maybe retest these highs up here, but I want to give it a second here. We have 12 minutes left until ISM data. We'll see if we get anything good. Wanted to buy maybe 600s here, but starting to get some deep red all of a sudden. Video's right back down to those lows. Yeah, y'all be careful. White House official says special envoy Wyckoff and Kushner represent the U.S. Saw that already. Hop back up here. Looks like we are. This drop. Again, Bitcoin came all the way back down and taps 93,000 even here. 93,000 even. I don't know what I want to do with my actual trading here. All right, guys. Sorry, Kiro came in to talk to me. We are down over the last few minutes. Nvidia did crack 190s here, so it bounced initially here, but it then immediately broke down. All right, I might buy a small pullback here. Oh, good. All enough. I didn't really get filled at the right price, but that's all right. Go. I cut it right there. Just made a couple bucks here. Could have held a little bit longer, it looks like. Kind of a choppy range at the opening bell. We're not really getting a lot, but we do have manufacturing PMI in exactly 10 minutes. I'm gonna buy this up. Let's get. We'll buy this right here. Maybe add a little bit to it. There we go. There we go. We'll hold the last one, break even. Maybe add. Not gonna add. Sell this. We made money on the trade, but it kind of went break even after a certain point. All right, guys, we got ISM manufacturing PMI in 9 minutes here. Bitcoin did hold at 93,000. Look at that 93K level. All right, we're right at the 200 exponential. I'm gonna try to buy this dip, see if we rebound here. If we go deeper in the green, I'll add to it, but I gotta wait. There we go. It's deeper in the green. We'll add to that a little bit more. Got a cushion on the day we can swing with, so we'll give it a second. Not gonna add any more to it though. Go back to green. Not really holding though. There it goes. Let's take half of it off right there just to lock in some more cushion. We add back on a dip like this. There we go. Take a little bit more off. Yeah, I'm gonna cut that. It just broke down too much. We actually made money on the trade overall. But Let me look at the news. The Raymond James analyst says Venezuela's oil production hinges on how quickly a government transition occurs and whether multinational oil companies return in a bullish scenario. Output could exceed 2 million BP day by 2030. My long trade would have worked, but I've been kind of scalping it. Silver's still pushing up. Oil on the day since the opening bell has been kind of... It's dipped a little bit. I will buy a dip here if we get it at 600s, but I kind of need a dip at 6. I'm not going to buy it up here. Let's start adding down here. Didn't quite get 600s, but we're at 610. I think that's good enough. Get a little bit more, I'll add to it. I'm gonna add a little bit more here, maybe add 2 more right here. We're gonna leave it alone. There we go, took half off, took another piece off up there. Nice. All right, let's see if we get higher here. I'll add a little bit more on a dip too. Dip, we'll take some more. Oh, we'll take another piece off there. Nice. Add a little bit more. See, this last add helps. Go. I'm gonna take some of that off right there. We're out. All right, so we made a good bit of money on the trade. I just don't trust it when it starts to really under 600. I don't trust it all. It might hold here and continue back up, but we got ISM data coming out. Silver's about to break highs of the day. It just broke highs of the day at 76.80, 76.89, 76.90. High of the day for silver. Truist lowers Tesla price target to 439 after quarter four deliveries miss. I want to buy this back here. I do. Go. Add a little bit here. Man, we're getting chopped right now. Maybe it's ahead of the PMI data. I don't know, but nothing really going on. I'm gonna see if we get the 600 bounce again like we want, but bounce. The NASDAQ is not really moving here, fortunately. What I want to do with this, I'm basically flat on the day now. I think I'm just gonna sell. Yeah, we do have ISM PMI data coming out in 3 minutes here. 3 minutes. We'll see if it's relevant right now. What's going on? We've been getting a lot of chop. Look at these drops all of a sudden coming in. So maybe ahead of the ISM data, we're getting some in here. All right, we got the ISM data in about 2 minutes here. Yeah, 2 minutes. We'll see what we get. Market's very flat, kind of boring here. Bitcoin is pushing up though, 93.5s. All right, here we got 2 minutes until ISM data. 2 minutes. All right, so this is what we are on the day here. We got one funded account where we are up. One funded account, we're down about $15 at one of them. Another one, we are up about $250. A little bit over $250 here if you look at it. So that's the day so far. ISM data is coming out right now, so I don't want to take big positions. I don't know how much this is going to move markets. ISM PMI data is expected today at 48.3. Last time was 48.2. We'll see what this looks like. I don't know if it's going to cause big volatility. It could also not. So we'll see. You know, at the very least, it's some data release. We got 1 minute left until it drops. Market's very choppy though on this Monday. You can hit the live button next to the play button, put it in 2x speed. We'll cover the data release as it happens. But again, I don't know how much volatility it's going to cause. See. ISM data is expected at 48.3. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. We'll see what today's data release looks like. Again, ISM PMI expected at 48.2, 48.3. Last time was 48.2. Price is at 59. It drops in about 10 seconds. And here's the release. Timer's a little bit early, but here's the release right now. Okay, it came in at 47.9, weaker than expected at 47.9 for ISM manufacturing versus 48.3, 58.5 for ISM prices for manufacturing versus 59. So both of them came in slightly under the expected levels here. 48.3 was what was expected. Previous was 48.2. We ended up showing at 47.9. So a little bit weaker than expected for both fronts here. And again, it didn't really move markets that much for ISM manufacturing. It's not some crazy move or anything like that. But they both did weaker than expected numbers. Again, ISM PMI data showed up at 48 or 47.9 versus 48 expected here. I'll put this data up on screen. But yeah, like I said, it didn't really move markets as I expected it. I didn't expect it to move markets really. Prices showed up at 58.5. But I'll put this up on screen. So this is the ISM manufacturing PMI print at the bottom. You can see it scrolling now. 47.9. Markets are so choppy and flat, guys. Look, if you want to check out Top Step, great way to help support the channel. No PDT rolling future. I'm going to cut out of here. We'll be back tomorrow, bright and early. But if you want to check out Top Step, they are a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. They recently lowered activation fees and more, super reliable with payouts. A lot of great stuff coming from there. Check them out. And yeah, after that, we're going to cut out of here probably. Sorry, I'm trying to check one thing before I close it down here. Why does it have multiple? Okay. All right, guys, for some reason, I'm trying to schedule this in StreamYard. I'll come back tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to redirect to the stream today, but I'll schedule it for tomorrow, and I'll see you guys over there. Y'all be good. Have a great day. Again, yeah, I'm trying to schedule this, and for whatever reason, the redirect is just not working. I got to close down OBS first, I think. So, yeah, y'all be great. Have a great day. I'll see you.